if you can recall when we had our conversation, what was my beef with you?
Your beef was, do you think that I should be in ministry? And then I called you Joe Biden. Those two things.
Okay, all right. So you don't, and do you know why I believe that, and this is my belief, that you shouldn't be in ministry?
Okay, but when you ask a question,
no,
why.
We're not gonna.
I know why. You think
why?
Because my previous sins make me unqualified. Fine. We agree to disagree.
But so audience, you understand that where Corey and I disagree is his qualifications for ministry today. That's where we are. Is that?
Did you ever ask me a question, X?
No, wait. Whoa, hold on, stop, bro. Let's get some clarity before you say what. Let's go with some clarity. So my position with you is that I don't believe you're qualified for ministry.
Okay.
Right? Okay. Based on what?
Forget all that. You said we know what you believe.
If we're gonna talk, bro, we gotta talk. Why do you?
Because you think that my sin. Because I just said it earlier. You think that my sin disqualifies me. So fine, we agree to disagree.
Okay, so but your sin. Hold on. Wait a minute. Your sin as a minister or as a sheep?
As a minister, the point is this though. Did you ever ask me any questions?
Let me finish. We just having a conversation because it needs people need to hear this, bro. I'm not mad at you. I can't. I mean, if you're compliant, then that conversation ends with me today. That just period. We talked.
Why does it end with you? Why does it end?
Listen, dude, again, here you go. You can't turn around and say, Seiko, don't overtalk me as you being Corey, and then you overtalk me. Because
you're going to go for an hour.
It ain't no because, and we're not going to go on for an hour. We're not going to do that. And last time you said, X, you ain't this, you ain't that. And I was like, Corey, you ain't got no skill. Stop it, bro. If I did this and you was like, well, fine. If we were, I ain't no we, because you ain't got no skill set. And you made people think, hold on, wait a minute. You made people think that I was going to come to Texas and see you or was threatening you. I never was. So let's just tone it down. I just said, when it comes down to it, boxer, you not. You ain't gonna fight. That's the opinion.
I said, hold on.
My opinion. That's my opinion.
Wait a minute, that's fine. And I said, get a ticket. I'll pay for it.
And we get to the topic.
We're not solving the matter.
So I believe.
Have you ever asked me a question that I didn't answer? X, have you ever asked me a question that I didn't answer?
Yeah, you did.
So I've answered all your questions.
There's a question that I asked you weren't going to answer.
What question was that?
How come you didn't go live with Seiko?
I didn't tell you.
No, you didn't tell me.
Yes, I did.
Yes, I did. You didn't. No,
I said I'm not. I'm not, because all he wants is a circus, which is what he's getting right now.
No, all he wants is
honest answers. You've never asked a question.
Honest answers.
You've never. I told you why. Hold on. Are you telling me I've never told you why I wouldn't go live with Seiko?
You said I'm not going to be a clown for a circus.
So I did answer your question. You just told everybody.
No. Logically, dude, we got this book right here. That did not follow. Okay, it didn't follow, Corey.
So here's a question.
Mr. Greek, it didn't follow.
The question I'm trying to get at is you've asked me questions. I've always answered your question if you call me.
Okay, so why are you going live with Seiko
Why
now?
didn't you call me a year ago? Why didn't you? All these things that you just on here trying to drag me into. Why didn't you ever call me in the first place?
No.
You didn't hear what I said. I said trying to drag me, not drag.
I didn't drag you. I said you're not qualified for ministry. Hold on, wait a minute. I said
you called me all sorts of names.
Okay, which one? What did I call you? A blinking dude? Yeah, you blink. Now what?
All right. So is it your assessment that you've never called me any names?
No. You called everybody names. You called me Joe Biden. I ain't worried about that. I am like,
I said, hold on. You don't. All right.
So enough of that. So Corey, the money that you said that the government has, you said they're monitoring the money that you're making.
Everything. More than you.
Okay, that's good. They got that. They got the resources to do that. So
are you satisfied with them?
You actually paying the victims right now, correct? I'm
paying per the court.
Per the court.
Now, where it goes, I have no idea.
So the any amount that remains on, this is the schedule of payments of your restitution. Any amount that remains unpaid when the defendant's supervision commences is to be paid on a monthly basis at a rate of at least 20% of the defendant's gross income to be changed during supervision, if needed, based on the defendant's changed circumstances pursuant to 18 U.S.C. Section 364K. Additionally, 100% of receipts received from gifts, tax returns, inheritances, bonuses, lawsuit awards, and any other receipt of money, to include but not limited to gambling proceeds, lottery winnings, and found money, must be paid toward the unpaid fine. That's what you're doing now, correct?
Yep.
At 100%?
You're having a bad time understanding what he's saying.
I'm just
I don't owe 100%.
No, it said additionally 100% of receipts.
No. When you have to fill out a financial form with him. I'm not paying 100%. I don't know. You keep.
I'm asking. I'm asking. It says 100% of receipts received from gifts.
Of what?
Gifts, tax returns, inheritances, bonuses, lawsuit awards, and any other receipt of money. What does any other receipt of money include? What would that qualify?
It's not your income. It doesn't include your income.
What does it include?
What you just read. What did you just read, Seiko?
It says to include, but not limited to. So your AdSense, your monetized channels, and also your Patreon account. That's not being paid to the victims.
Here's what you can do if you want to. You can sit and scrutinize. And I'm asking you. You can scrutinize the government as though they're not doing their job. They are.
I'm not scrutinizing them. I'm asking you a question.
I told you, and this will be the end of this part. I'm paying what I'm required to pay. The government is fine with it. The court is fine with it. Seiko may not be. That's fine.
I don't care about that. I'm just asking you. You said you had paid it, and you said you're not paying it. You're just going back and forth.
I just explained to it. So your issue is you think that I am in sin. Seiko, how about we do this? How about I tell you what? You know what? Go ahead and ask me another question, because you're not going to believe.
I'm just asking you a question. So what about my Social Security? What about my Social Security number that you have on me and my wife? Where'd you get that from?
Someone sent it in. I said, I'm not about to do anything with it.
Why would you have access to my Social Security information?
Someone sent it.
Who?
Someone literally sent me a big file. Well, actually, several. I'm not going to tell you who.
So you're not going to tell me the person who actually gave you my identification information and my wife's?
No, I'm not.
So you're covered for somebody that committed a crime.
I don't know if they committed a crime. I don't know how they got it.
You don't know if they committed a crime?
Having your Social Security number is not a crime.
Giving my Social Security number to someone without my authorization is a crime, sir.
Okay, well, listen, I don't know that.
So you being a felon is protecting somebody else committing a crime?
All right, Seiko.
I'm just asking you. That's what we're doing.
Okay, and so recording people without their knowledge in a two-party state.
That's also a crime. No. You can take that up civilly, sir.
No.
We can take that up civilly.
See, you can have your rules where you do something wrong.
No. I ain't saying about doing anything wrong. But you have no problem. You have no problem playing recorded conversation. Now, do you?
Someone sent me your information. I got a bunch of folks that sent me my stuff. I have truth be told, I have no idea where it is. They sent it
but
in electronic
who did it, Corey. You know who did it. Just like you lied and talking about that I got tax fraud.
Let me say it again. And the reason why you know that is because I said that people have, and it was my point in saying that y'all, we're not going to stoop to a certain level. We're not going to do that. I said someone even sent me his. Now I haven't verified that it is your social, but someone sent me what looks like your social and your wife's. And your the cars that you owned before and this and that or whatever.
Gotcha.
That stuff, like I'm not about to, and I said I am not going to do anything with this stuff. I'm not going to do anything with the letters that came from your former church members about you. I'm not going to do any of those things.
Hold on, what letters came from my former church members?
You don't want to know? I promise.
I don't?
No.
I kind of do.
Okay. Well, so you've got one letter. I know one letter where a lady said that she was upset and she sent you a letter saying she's leaving. And her issue and a couple of people's issues was that one, how you mishandled money. There's not. Wait a second. I'm not.
Okay, go ahead.
I wasn't there. I'm just telling you what the letter said.
Okay, go ahead.
The letter said that you was mishandling money. That there was no transparency, that you were abusive in your tone towards them. Again, not my words. That's why. Listen, that's what they said. So that's what was said. I said, you know what? I'm not going that route. I'm through with it. A lot of folks who don't like Seiko said, here's this, here's that, here's this, here's that.
Keyword, don't like.
That's fine, Seiko. Listen, I'm not saying they're right or they're wrong. I'm just telling you what I did not do. I have never come back and went at your personal information. And I said that someone sent me his social. I didn't divulge the social. I said that to show that rather than repaying evil for evil, rather than trying
hold on. Oh, Corey, so it's evil for you to expose a person that broke the law? That's evil. So it's evil for you. It's evil for you to expose the person that broke the law by giving you my social security number, and not just mine, but my wife's, without my express permission or authorization. That's doing evil for evil. Are you telling me that?
No. You're not listening. You're not
I am listening. I'm actually saying.
I said I'm not going to try to repay you. I'm not going to try to. No, you said
doing evil for evil.
I think what you're doing is evil, and if I think it's evil, you might disagree.
What's evil? Hold on. What's evil?
Wait a second. Let me finish my point.
What's evil?
If I think it's evil, I think what you're doing is evil and vindictive, I'm not going to try to one up you. Y'all, here's this number. Here's this. Here's that. Here's this. Here's that. I'm not going to do that.
But you said. But you mentioned that I committed tax fraud.
No, I didn't. And JP no, I didn't. And JP apologized. He said he had the wrong person. He was talking about Tim Jones, not me. I didn't say that. So I never said that.
Did you share that information with anybody else?
No. I just told you that. I've never shared with anybody. No one can say that I've shared any information about Seiko Woods.
Okay. Let me ask this question. Let me ask this question.
I don't have people data mining.
That's fine. But you said Marcus Rogers is a brother, but I'm not.
I didn't. Not one time. That's a lie also.
You said you never said you're gonna treat Marcus Rogers like a brother?
I said I'm gonna treat him like one. Not that he was.
And then you cited Psalm 133. And applied it to him being a brother?
And hold on. See, this is why you're a liar. When I said that, I immediately said, I know what y'all going to say. I said, I'm not calling him a brother. I literally said that. But you don't play that part. Now, wait a second.
You cited Psalm 133 and you applied it to Marcus Rogers being a brother.
I said how good it is for brothers dwell in unity. I said, I know what y'all going to say, and I'm not calling him a brother. I literally said that.
Why would you cite Psalm 133?
And I told them why. The reason why I said that is because you know what? I said, I could be wrong. I don't think so, but I could be wrong. I said, you know what? He called me up. He expressed some concerns. He wasn't trying. Who knows? Was he trying to fit himself? Who knows? I said, but let me just find out. Because if he is what I think he is, I'm gonna find out anyway. It's not like I'm giving him the keys of the car. I said, let me just find out.
You affirmed him. You affirmed him as a brother, Corey.
I never called him a brother.
Did you pray with him? Did you pray with him?
I pray with a lot of folks. I pray with sinners too.
You pray? No. Do you pray with heretics?
Well, did you pray with Michael Brown?
Well, because he believes. Hold on. You talking about before the scandal or after?
No, before, because he believes everything that Isaiah Saldivar believes. Who you said is a heretic, not a brother. He believes everything that all those other guys believe.
I don't follow Michael Brown's ministry or Saldivar's ministry like you do.
You don't know that Dr. Michael Brown believes. I
consider Michael Brown a brother in Christ.
Okay. Well,
he ain't a wolf. He wasn't a wolf. He wasn't a wolf.
He wasn't.
But you prayed with a heretic. That you said this.
I think that Marcus has demonstrated in so many ways that he is not a brother. The fact that he just clearly doesn't understand. And if that were it only that he just had some issues handling the text and some debatable doctrinal issues, then that would be fine. But how he treats the deity of Christ, in his errant prophecies. But one of the things that I can remember, if it was you, Anthony, or Ricky, you said about how he treats God, this little flippant attitude towards God. I'm reminded of Nadab and Abihu, who approached God with this strange fire. Excuse me. And after God had rained down fire and devoured them, Moses goes to Aaron and explains something to him that I think we all ought to remember. Because this is how God is going to be forever and how we ought to treat him. He says, by those who approach me, I will be regarded as holy. You will not get away with treating God as though he's something other than God, as though you can handle him any sort of way, as though you can bring yourself up to the level that he is or bring God down to your level. That will not stand before the Lord. Now, you may think that you've gotten away with it and you may feel emboldened because you've had some successes, but whether it be Marcus Rogers, whether it be a T.D. Jakes, whether it be some of these other people who are out there who are just treating God as though that they have their own little way with him, they can say whatever and attribute to God, you will give account for that. And so the warning is this: do not treat God as though he's not God. He is the only sovereign being that you know. Period. Not you. You are not the master of your destiny. You don't control what you're doing. And so, is Marcus Rogers a brother? No, he's not. And anyone else who finds themselves believing or teaching or saying what he's saying, you too are not a brother in Christ.
Was that you, Corey?
Yeah, that was me.
You said he wasn't a brother in Christ.
That's what I said.
But now
That's
he
what I
is.
said.
But now he is.
I didn't say he was a brother. I said he's not a brother. I said
now
he's not
he
a
is.
brother. So, again, I said I don't think he is. I don't know. I said I could be wrong. And I explained why I could be wrong. I've said this before. I said that there are people that I know who did not look like believers, but they were. They had these struggles, or they just, I play the clip. You could be saved and stupid. Maybe he just doesn't know. And so I would ask some questions. I would just try to see. And sometimes somebody would just kind of sell you something. See, okay, well, this person, I don't think so, brother. Maybe not. But let's see. I'm willing to treat you like I would the guy on the corner store. Let me just see. In case I could be wrong, because you know what I want to do? I don't want to be guilty of treating a person who is a brother, who might be slow, might not be very good at showing it. I don't want to be guilty of treating him like an unbeliever. Let me just find out what's a few more days, a few more weeks. Now, and I literally told everyone when he came on, I'm not recommending him. Don't go to his channel. Don't subscribe. I told Marcus to his face, even live, that I don't even think you ought to be having a church. Just do rap, what have you. I said, your doctrine is off and you need to get that straight. And I said, you might not be safe. I said these things. And then I came back out publicly and said, I'm through with you. You just don't get it. I said, I gave you the benefit of the doubt. So at least no one can say I didn't try to give you the benefit of the doubt. I treated him the same way that I would treat the cashier on the corner, the same way I would treat the drug dealer, the same way I would treat anyone else. Let me just see and find out until because all I knew about him was at a distance. He says some dumb things. Maybe he's just dumb. Maybe he just doesn't know very much. Maybe he's trying to get it. Maybe he's on the fly. He's running downhill and doesn't know how to stop. Maybe that's what it is. I wanted to try to see. Same thing with the other people. Was I wrong? I was right in my initial assessment, but I was wrong in things that may be. Fine. I've never called him a brother, never told anyone to treat him like a brother.
Yes,
so let me say this.
You said I'm going to treat him like a brother. You said that, Corey.
Is it? Okay. So if you think I was, if you think I was wrong,
you said I'm going to treat him like a brother, but called me a devil, and you shared T God's video of him imposing my voice on a devil.
It's not about, if you think I was wrong for doing that, I apologize.
It's not thinking, Corey.
No.
You say that you were.
Well, fine. Just like you were wrong for calling and coddling Michael Brown previous, because everyone knew what his
coddling and coddling Michael Brown. What are you talking about? Pre-scandal?
Pre-scandal. You called him a brother. He was on your channel.
Yes, I did.
On your channel,
yes,
and you called him brother.
Yes, I did.
A few times.
Yes, I did.
That's fine. Me calling a heretic a brother, I'm in sin. You calling one a heretic.
Michael Brown and Corey Minor. Michael Brown and Marcus Rogers. You can't put in the same category as being heretics and false teachers.
You said Isaiah Saldivar's a heretic and not a brother.
Yeah.
You said Mike, they get their doctrine from him. They lean on him. They call, and so you said the same thing, but that's fine. It's me. So let me just say this. I, some 20 years ago, had an affair, sullied and drugged the name of Christ through the mud. I stole money from my former clients, the people that trusted me, that entrusted me with their time, their money. There were people that looked at to me and wanted to hear or see something godly, and I didn't show them that. There were people that, whether they testified against me or turned their back on me, that was my fault. The reason why my former pastor said what he said is because I put him in that position to say what he said. That's not his fault. That's my fault. The reason why I had an attorney and she was not a good attorney, but she should have never been in that place to defend me in the first place because I knew better. I should have never been in that position. And so I acted and behaved ungodly. I believed I was saved. I could be wrong, but I truly actually believe that I was saved. Lord, forgive me if I was that stupid and that ignorant to not know that I was not saved. Could be. But once I got in prison and I asked the Lord, why am I here and when can I get out? And the Lord was just completely silent. And he showed me that I was at the worst prison because that's where I deserve to be. Why am I here with the worst of the worst? Because I feel the Lord tell me that's your kind, them your people. Be there and deal with it. And I wanted to get out. And at a certain point in time, I said, Lord, fine. Now, you guys think that I couldn't have filed anymore, but that's the little statement that's at the bottom, not to file anymore. That's standard. I can file if I want. I can file one now. But what came to me was that God is going to do what he's going to do if I'm his or if I'm not his. God was chastising me. He was showing me that I was the worst example of a witness for the Lord, period. And I haven't lied to anybody. If someone thinks that if someone feels as though I have not given or divulged enough information, that I wasn't being totally forthcoming and completely truthful, I apologize. I am on the line. I was initially charged in my sentencing for 64 victims. It went down to 50. The dollar amount that was owed at restitution at the time was $2.8 million. And so I'm sorry for that. I wish I could go in my pocket. I wish I could do something to make everybody whole and so no one could look at me. I don't want anyone to look at me as though I'm a stain on the name of Christ. And that might haunt me for the rest of my life. And for that, I am sorry. I hate the fact that you got people that want to, that name the name of Christ on both sides, that have an ought towards somebody else who also says they name the name of Christ. I hate to be the reason why this is even a conversation. I hate to be the reason why sin is being named to be in the camp. I hate that. And I know some people are going to think, well, he's just selling that. That's fine. That's fine. I know how bad I hurt because of it. There's a reason why I didn't want to come out and defend this, because if I come on and you ask me a question and then I answer it, it's going to look like he's just deflecting or he's just trying to defend himself. You can't win when you try to defend yourself, which is why I say try your best not to defend yourself. But I said, you know what? I'll try. And so for everybody, y'all, I sincerely repent for all of my crimes, for all of my sins, for all of my lies, for all of my unshady, ungodly things. If someone believes me, that's fine. If they don't believe me, that's fine also. I owe God the rest of my life to prove to him that I am a worthy vessel. May never prove it. May never prove it. And if anyone has a problem with that, fine. I got that coming. If you never trust me, fine. I got that coming. I'm not telling anyone that I've got to change the consequences. These are the consequences that I created. So I ask the entire body of Christ, if you feel like I've been not forthcoming, please forgive me. Forgive me for not divulging everything that you felt like I should have. Maybe I should have. Maybe I should have. And so I ask in the name of Jesus, would you please forgive me and allow me to move on? Allow me, if you see me saying anything wrong, or do anything wrong, fine. You are more than welcome to call me out. I don't have a problem with that. There's probably 2 or 3 videos about me tonight going on. Who knows? I don't have a problem with that. And if X wouldn't have called, I wouldn't have got on. I apologize. Y'all forgive me. I'm not gonna stand here any longer and defend myself because I can't.
Hey, Corey.
That's all I can say.
Hey, Corey.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are you hearing me?
Either you or a ghost. Yeah, I hear you.
No. Are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you.
Your issue is not a theological issue. Your issue is not a past issue. Your issue is a belief issue. You think God can't give you $3 million to get to these people? You just said out of your mouth, I can't pay them back. But God can. You think that I'm getting at you because you're not sorry. No. I told you on the phone, Negro, you got the starting position and you played in the championship and you dropped the ball. And everybody in the stands has the right to get mad because you dropped the ball representing their team. But if you think for one instance, bro, that at 54, God can't do right by you if you got a good heart, you ain't got no theological issue, bro. You got a belief issue. I came home with nothing, homie. 0. And God took me. But I couldn't talk about the plaques in the back. Negro, you've never had a talent issue, ever. People are attracted to your talent. The same way you went to Texas Tech. But it's not your talent, bro. It's your compliance. I got dudes at Emmanuel watching your videos. And the only reason I get in, because I'm like, nah, bro. So yeah, I get the fact that you want to play in the game. I get that. And that's a desirable get down. But if you go sit there in 2025 and think $2.8 million is too much for God, Negro, you got a belief issue. You ain't got no theological issue. God still can. You got to believe he can.
X, I said that. I said
I hear what you. I don't know. I hear what you saying, bro. I hear what you saying.
Okay.
I hear what you saying. But dude, let me give you something for my old man. I came home with no money, making $75 a week, and my dad said, "Commit to God, turn from sin." And I don't want to hear nothing about Hammer. And I sat for 6 years, no Bible study, no nothing, smarter than everybody in the class. I have not done a live, bro, or done 50 Righteous Radio since 96 when my mentor told me, go sit down and raise your family. The only reason I'm back is because he released me. You got to be able to hear God in spite of all the nonsense. 2.8 million. Bro, see, Seiko, I'm not talking to you from Seiko or normal people. Dude, you had money. I don't care even if you took it and you had money. God is that ain't. The Bible says the cattle up on 1,000 hills belong to him. This ain't got nothing to do with Seiko, ain't got nothing to do with Dan Brown, ain't got nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with Corey Minor. And your biggest victory is to humble yourself and watch God. The biggest part is to be able to be 62 and have a pension. I'll be 62 in 9 months, and I got a full pension. And everybody that thought I was going to fall apart when I left Hammer, I said, just watch. Well, X, you ain't got nothing. You clean up crack homes with big, huge mittens, and you home. Yep, but watch God. You ain't got no theological issue, bro. You ain't got no talent issue.
Let me interject, please.
Go ahead, man.
Corey, there's some questions that people are genuinely asking in the chat, and one of them is here. Corey, please do right by the people and at least attempt to pay them back, even if it's thousands at a time. The question is, are you attempting to pay back what you owe in restitution?
I don't know how many times you want me to say it. Yes, Seiko, the government knows that. Okay. So y'all listen, y'all can dead that issue. That issue is dead.
I'm populating the questions, Corey. So just bear with me if you don't mind.
Well, because I'm looking at the chat. Some people just I can say whatever. They're not going to believe it. If I went in their house Corey,
I think this is a result of what has happened. These are the consequences for what has happened.
No, Seiko, you don't think that some of it is a result of 90 plus videos? You don't think that's part of it?
No, just like you had a problem with posting videos about the people that you were talking about.
Everybody, and I heard Alex say this, everybody that I post a video about is something new. So if Marcus Rogers does something today, and I'm not going to make the same video about the same thing over and over again.
But like you said, where's the sin at that, Corey? Where's the sin at that?
What?
Where's the sin in that? If I post, I made 100 and some videos on G. Craig Lewis. Nobody had a problem with that.
I think the sin is the vindictiveness with which you did it. You didn't.
So now you're going back on motives. So now you're impugning my motives.
Seiko, you asked me my question.
But you're impugning my motives, though.
I think you called who you thought was a parole officer to get me in jail.
I never did that. I never tried to put you in jail.
Okay.
I never tried to put you in jail. No, I never tried. You lied. You lied about what you said you paid.
Can I ask you a question then? Can I?
Sure.
Assuming that you're right and I lied, you called them for what?
Because you lied about saying that you paid these victims back.
Why did you call them to tell them that I was lying?
Because just like I would call if a pedo was in my neighborhood and they was a registered sex offender.
Did you? Because and what did you think they would do to me? When you called, what did you think they would do?
If you are in violation and you are lying publicly saying that you paid these victims back their money and you never did, you was going to be reported. Just like I would report a pedophile.
Because you wanted me to go back to jail, which is fine.
No. What I want you to do is tell the truth, Corey. That's what I want.
You tell the truth, Seiko.
I just told you. I just told you what I did. I'm not. Hey, Corey. Here's. Go ahead, Alex. Go ahead, Alex.
Let me say something. There's a couple things. Number one, if Corey has been compliant with the federal court, and you said he hasn't paid a dime, then guess what? You put out misinformation.
I did not put out misinformation. No, I did not, sir. No, I did not. Because we still have proof. I'm going by his word, and he's already lied.
Okay.
Where's the evidence? Listen. All that can be settled by producing the evidence. I'm not going by what he said.
But look, Seiko, listen, that's not your business.
Yes, it is my business.
This all started. Listen to me. And
Alex,
this all
you don't know what
started
you're talking about,
according to you, and I'm just going off your words. You said this all started when he told his testimony, and then he had this video with John McCarthy, and then boom, here we go. Y'all looking it up and all this good stuff. Corey has said he is compliant with the court. Okay, just like you researched.
Again, there is no evidence proving that Corey is paying these victims back. And it all can be settled. Listen, Alex. It all can be settled. It can all be settled and resolved if he produces the receipts.
That's up to you. That's up to God.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Alex.
Can I share my screen?
This is why I'm saying you're defending him.
Let me share my screen, Seiko. Let me share my screen, Seiko.
That's what I'm saying. And there's more issues that you have.
Let me put it on here.
Between you, I've seen it. There's more issues than just this court.
Hold on. Hold on.
It's more issues than just
it's
the
not.
court.
Alex, you don't know what you're talking about, sir. You don't know what you're talking about.
I want to see if you're going to give us some apology. Hold on, Alex.
Hold on.
Share the screen.
Okay. All right, give me a minute. Let me make another duplication. Hold on.
Just.
I'm duplicating the screen, Corey. Hold on.
Get that information. He won't talk about.
Oh, he can't get into this information. This is just going to show what I have to do. So just hit the share screen.
I got. There it is.
Okay. Now all this is a supervision report. This is what's required every month, Seiko. You owe me an apology. You owe me an apology, Seiko.
No,
you owe everybody an apology.
No, I don't.
Seiko, because let me tell you why.
No,
I'm through.
You're not producing anything. This is a login. What is that?
Seiko,
What does that mean?
What kind of fool would I be?
Corey,
to give you
the kind of fool that's not going to believe your lie. That's all I'm saying.
That's
Corey.
fine.
That's not proving anything.
Seiko, I'm not after you believing me, Seiko, but this for the world. And I told you this the last time I called you. The issue isn't so much you. It's the people in the chat that no matter what I do.
Corey,
can I finish?
Anything.
Let me finish. This is a monthly supervision report. They get this, they scrub everything, Seiko. No, I'm sorry, not Seiko. Audience, chat. This is what's required. Seiko wants me to divulge my personal information.
No, I don't.
I'm not going. No, Seiko. Can I finish? Let me say what I'm saying.
No, I don't.
There are people in the chats that may or may not listen, which is fine. Listen, you guys have the right. But let me just say this, though. If you say that I haven't been paying people back, they haven't gotten a dime or whatever, that's a lie. And you're speaking without information, which, as you said, according to you, what you said, that makes you a fool.
There's no evidence, Corey. Where's the evidence? You just put up a log. There's no evidence of this. Where's the receipts?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So what you my user ID?
When you said that you borrowed the money and paid it back, you say you borrowed money. Who did you borrow it from?
Who did I say I borrowed money from?
You say you borrowed money from the accounts.
Again, I apologize for what I did 20 years ago. Wrong, horrible, evil, wicked. Fine. I do what I'm supposed to do per the government. I fulfill my needs. There's never been an issue. You got a problem with that. I suggest you call the courts tomorrow and report the problem again. See what they're going to do. Now, you won't be able to call the courts dealing with me. You can call the courts, but that's not enough. And that's the reason why I want to share that.
Yeah, that's a login. That's just the login screen, Corey.
What do you think the login is for, Seiko? What do you think it's for?
Corey, you didn't produce any receipts, Corey. I can put up a login screen. That don't mean nothing.
What do you think the login is for, Seiko?
Corey, produce the receipts.
What kind of receipts you want to show you?
If you're genuinely repentant and if you're genuinely paying these people back, then you produce.
Let me ask you a question. Are you repentant?
I want you to answer the question, Corey.
I want you to answer my questions now.
No, I need you to answer mine first. I've already answer my question.
I'm not giving you personal information. Now,
I'm not asking for personal information. I'm just asking for proof that you're paying these victims back their money. That's all.
You ain't getting none. Now, Seiko,
then you'll get.
Why did you get a divorce? Why did you get 2 divorces? You said
I was not saved. I was not saved. I was not saved.
You said the reason why how you know you in your hold on. In your testimony, you said the reason why you know you weren't saved is because you didn't fully understand the doctrines of grace. That's a stupid statement.
No.
That's how you didn't know you were saved?
No, sir. Don't gaslight, Corey. Don't gaslight.
Don't gaslight, Corey.
Don't gaslight.
How do you know you weren't saved? How do you know you weren't saved?
Because of my lifestyle.
What's
That's why I'm challenging you on yours. Because of my lifestyle. Because how I was living was not what I was professing. That's
you're
how.
Literally doing what you're doing then.
No.
You're literally doing what you're doing
What?
now. But I want to know your testimony. I want to know.
If you want to know my testimony, hey, Corey, if you want to know my testimony, I'll give you the video.
No,
Everybody knows my testimony. Everybody knows my testimony. But the gaslighting, Corey, the gaslighting is not going to work. I'm bringing you here. I'm bringing you here to admit that you've lied several times. Several times.
I don't think I lied. I'm not going to admit you.
I mean, seriously, I don't think we should be asking about divorces in this conversation.
Why? Why is everyone else's past fair game, but Seiko's not?
Because mine was pre-Christ.
Why is it that you guys never hold him accountable? Why is no one else's past fair game? I mean, everyone else's past is fair game, but his.
My past? You talking about pre-conversion?
Seiko, I want to hear it. I want to know if you're lying about your
If we ask Seiko about his,
go ahead, Dan.
If we have to ask Seiko about his divorces, then we have to ask you, Corey, why did you file for a divorce from your wife?
Because I was having an affair.
Okay.
Well,
thank you.
Why were you talking about my sin while you were shackled with a woman, got a woman pregnant out of wedlock?
Corey, don't bring that over here. Really
Why?
don't. Okay, because I repented for my sin, and I told the whole world about. It's on video.
No. See, this is the point.
Yeah, fool. Yes, fool. I did a whole video, explained it. Alex, I'm talking. I did a whole video, explained my whole testimony, and I'll do it again in front of you.
Why are you mad?
Ain't nobody. Don't play me. Don't
you
try
getting
to.
mad?
He gaslighting.
I'm not gaslighting anything. But the issue is
gaslighting.
You're
gaslighting. You're up here.
You said you borrowed the money and you put it back. How you borrow money from somebody and put it back? That's what I'm trying to find out.
You're talking about people in Seiko's chat. Let's go over your chat and see what they do, Corey.
No. We're talking about me.
Let's go over. Oh, yeah, we're talking about you. No. See, what you're not going to do. What you're not going to do is run. What you're not going to do is run because
I'm not running. I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you a question.
And I'm talking right now. When I'm done, you can ask your question.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Ask your question. Yes, sir. Thank you. Let's go over to your chat and see how Sheila Mahomes acts. Let's go over to your chat and let's see how Chess Champ acts when they bring up Seiko, calling him a drunk, talking about the documents that you say you have but you won't produce. Let's do that.
Call me a homosexual, and then you're implying that I'm a homosexual, saying if you were a homosexual, you would see why I'm attracted to you. What is that?
Oh, I said I could. Someone called
you have my number. Matter of fact, Corey, you have my number, and as you like to do, if you have
why would I call you? Why in the world would I call you?
Well, that's what you say you do, right?
Why would I call you?
And I'm applying your standard. If you can talk about somebody, you can talk to somebody, right?
Can I make a statement? Here's my statement.
No, you can't because
you guys are hypocrites. You act hypocritical. You called out my sin.
And you're unsaved.
Okay,
that's fine. You called out my sin, which was fine. All the while you were sleeping with someone who wasn't your wife and got a woman pregnant out of wedlock. You didn't divulge that until it was exposed. You guys do these things and no one can call you the carpet. You call people's businesses and their churches. That's what you guys do. Seiko, I want to know, I think you owe the world, just so you won't be considered a hypocrite, you owe the world.
You already got my video up.
Can I finish? No, your video's a lie because you told us that your divorces were biblical, and you said it had to do with abuse.
At the time I did.
What was you?
I mean, you was a pastor.
Were you the one doing the abusing, or was she the one doing the abusing? You said you put it as though she was the one abusing you. How? And so I think you owe us more information. I think
my video. But Corey, I'm not the one that lied about my conversion.
I really don't care. I really don't care about
either because mine is under the blood, bro. Mine is under the blood. But it's a nice deflection. Nice deflection. That's a diversion.
You call women. You call children. You go after people with a.
I call children. Whoa! You said I call children?
You go after the whole little rules about someone calling about what you blame me.
No. You said I called children. Hold on. You said I called you. What child have I called?
You blamed me for whoever you was. You said that was contact or doxing your daughter. But apparently she was the one that was doing the calling first. I don't know. But you blame me.
No.
You blame me.
Nope.
You didn't?
Nope.
Okay.
I said it could have been you. I said it could have been you.
You
got my social. You got my social. So what else do you have? I don't know.
So this is
But
what you got
here's the
now.
thing, Corey.
Here's
The
what you
deflection
can do.
is cute. You think you're getting away with anything, but
Where my
the problem
deflection
is
from? I answer your questions.
this. The problem is this, so Corey. The problem is this. You came
I
on
answered
here
your
finally.
questions.
You came on here finally.
I was guilty.
Okay.
I was wrong, ungodly, no good, and whatever I get, I deserve.
Okay.
Whatever else you want, I don't know. I don't know what.
No, we just want you to tell the truth. That was all.
I have.
And you still haven't. But
Okay,
you know,
that's fine.
surface
So,
apology.
here's what I'm about to do.
That's
I'm
fine.
getting ready. I'm getting ready to wrap up.
Okay.
I'm getting ready to go to bed. And so you've got material. You've got me on here. You got me asking for forgiveness. You guys don't have to give it to me. I promise you that.
No. I'm just.
so-
Well, I mean, so are you apologizing for everything you said about me, lying about me? You apologizing about that?
Every lie I told about you, I apologize.
Do you know what they are?
Now, are you going to apologize to me?
About what? Tell me what I need to apologize to you about.
Don't worry about it. You owe me.
Okay.
You owe me no
Okay.
apology. Don't worry
Well,
about
I mean, I'm sincerely asking, but that's fine.
it. Don't
Anybody
worry
else?
about it,
Dan, you got
X,
anything?
you got anything?
X.
I'm trying to digest all of this. My bad. But if you were compliant, and if sounds like a backwards statement, but not. But if your situation was you were always compliant with the court, then I apologize. If you were compliant, and if I called you into question, which I did, and you were compliant with the courts, I apologize. That's just me to you.
Okay.
I didn't threaten to come to Texas and beat you up. I just wanted to let you know that you're not as tough as you say you are just because you went to prison. Because
You're right.
you let me. I'm trying to talk, bro. So where I come from, if you got an issue, you go put on the gloves. It's a sport. You go outside and you handle it, and let bygones be bygones. My issue with you was your qualifications and what you did not as a person, but as a pastor, because I take that very seriously. I fall in the vein of Biola, Talbot, Grace Community Church, and Masters. You can have your preference. I ain't nothing against that, but that's where I stand. So, bro, it's if you can understand, I'm not Seiko's minion. That dude's younger than me. I've been knowing that dude since 2007. And if our mentors were on this live, they would say the same thing that Seiko was saying. We've been charged to be apologists. We were doing apologetics before you got saved, bro. So not to take anything away from you, but we have been given a charge to do things polemically and apologetically. But my thing to you right now is, bro, if you were compliant, forgive me. From me to you, if you were compliant. And that's all I'm going to say. The only thing I would say to you, Corey, in addition to that is Negro, it didn't take a year and a half to make this happen. It could have happened sooner.
How could it have?
And well, bro, I'm talking. You going to see? And the reason I believe it could happen sooner is because I understand the shame, bro. When I heard you talk, I get that. I get that. I get that. I really get that. However, you have to understand where Seiko's coming from, bro. You really have to understand where he's coming from. You really got to feel where he is. And I roll, like Alton said, I rocks with John McCarthy. I rocks with Seiko because I understand his heart. I get it. So, bro, if you compliant, you ain't got no more with me. We can go talk some other doctrinal issues. We can talk some other stuff. But this is just so that everybody knows. I believe you had a verbal confession, but you were not saved when you confessed Christ in 92. You might say differently, but for me, when you're changed, you're changed. When you're born again, you're born again. There are things that you don't do post salvation that you did prior to salvation.
Period.
The only way that I will know that you're serious and that you're over the glutton and the deal with money is when you get the comparable. You really can't say that you learned the lesson now and you're dealing with 5, 15, 20,000. You'll only know where you are as one to another. I had a $3.5 million contract with Capital. I didn't understand those stresses until I got back in Hollywood. So the story is still out on how you would handle finances when you get that substance, and the stress of having to deal with 50 to 100 people in that weight again. So there's nothing that's going to compare to that until you actually get in it again. It's going to the championship. I don't know when that is. I don't know where that is, but I think you need to be honest with brothers. I think you really need to feel Dan Brown. I think you really need to feel Seiko and just sit back and contemplate, because you laid it at my point, and I get it. So when you say I'm sorry, I got to sit back and let that marinate. I got to look at the video again and some stuff. But again, for the audience, the only reason I was going in on Corey is not because of Corey. It was because of what he did as a pastor. That's it, because I am one. That's the only get down. The other part is the fact that I'm pissed at Corey. I am. Because like I said before, he wasted 20 years of his life over his flesh. And that's tragic. And what I heard from Corey today is he understands that tragic. Nigga, you wasted your life. That's just me. So no, I'm doing my close. You can have yours.
Hold on, because now I'm upset. No,
you can't.
Hold on. I'm upset with you. I'm about to say this. I'm getting ready to say this.
No, you're not about to do that.
You ought to hear this.
Not on my clothes.
Well, hurry up.
Not on my clothes.
Hurry up, because now I've got something to say.
Not on my clothes. I have every right to look at Shadur Sanders and say, if I'm a Colorado fan, I know Deion. I have every right to say, bro, you blew it. I have every right. I have every right in my own emotion to say, bro, with all your talent, with all your stuff, with all your Greek, nigga, you dropped the ball. It's a damn shame that you spent whatever you spent in regards to your flesh and your sin, because you told me out of your mouth, as I do my clothes, you didn't turn you around. The Holy Spirit didn't turn you around. Negro, the world turned you around. You didn't stop until your pastors made you stop in regards to your adultery. You didn't stop defrauding people with money until the world stopped you from defrauding money. So miss me on that. Oh, I'm listening to the Holy Spirit. You didn't listen when it counted. I hope you're listening now. So all I'm saying is, when I look at your great talent, and Negro, you are talented, you blew it, homie. And I have every right to say, damn.
Chill on the cussing next. Chill on the cussing. I got people in here tripping about the cussing, bro.
Okay.
Now let me say my piece.
So in that's my only bit on your end. You got my number. I called you the same way I called Seiko in 2017. I called you because I'm a caller. I'll do that. So with all that, the apology, boom, the disqualification ministry still stands, and the disappointment is there. I hope it gets better in the future. Now it's on you.
So let me just say this. I meant what I said, and I don't even care about what the folks in the chat say. They're going to say what they want to say. But let me just say this and be absolutely and completely biblically clear. I owe God an apology and my life. I owe my family an apology, and the victims an apology, and the people that listen to me an apology. And by God's grace, the people that count have forgiven me. My wife is literally right there. She brought me back in. You think I care about what if you guys are gonna sit and tell me that I'm not repentant? I really could care less. Because people are gonna think that. I can do my very best, but I owe my life to God, and I owe my life to this woman and to those kids. And I do what the courts say, and the only people that got a problem with it is some people on YouTube that other folks don't rock with. I could care less what you guys think, to be honest with you. I know what I cried about. So the reason why I asked you this question, X, you said this could have been handled a year ago. You didn't call me. Call me. Noble Korean's talking. He didn't call me. He runs his mouth, but he didn't call me. Dan didn't call me. Seiko didn't call me. These people in the chat, they don't call.
I did call you.
I'm doing my talking right now.
Okay, go ahead.
They will sit and make all these comments and want to dig and make files on me. That's fine. Listen, I pray. No, not I pray. You better pray that I'm not repentant. You better pray that I'm not repentant. You know why? Because if I am, and what you're doing, I can promise you the same measure of judgment, God is going to put it back on you. I've told more about me than y'all have ever told combined about yourself. You can take Dan, you can take X, you can take Seiko, you can take everybody in the chat, add up everything they've told about their testimony. They've all told a little bit. It don't compare to one thing that I've said about me or been forced out to divulge. Stuff that nobody even cares about but you guys. I don't care. If you guys are not satisfied, that's fine. The Lord is, my wife is, the courts are. I know what I've done. I know who I trust in. I know who was with me in that jail cell when it got really rough. I know who delivered me. You can say what you want to say. That's fine. That's fine. And so we can agree to disagree and be on other sides of the street. I'm serving the Lord. I'm not teaching false doctrine. I'm not taking advantage of folks. I'm not trying to grift people. I'm being called a grifter. Like I'm lying to these folks. I don't ask anybody for anything. And God has kept me. And so for somebody to say that I don't know the Lord or I'm lying, that's fine. You can never make a person agree with you. You can't force nobody. So all the folks in the chat, the Proverbs 17:11, the Lady Saturns, the Christinas, all you folks to be whatever his name, David Rock, fine. Believe what you believe. But I can promise you this. If you're wrong about me, I can tell you this, that God will deal with you likewise. So with that being said, y'all, I'm gone. I'm going to eat my meal. I didn't plan on being here this long.
Why did you call Christina a liar?
Because she lied.
About what?
Because Christina, I'll tell you why. Because Christina was literally in that video clip that you were playing. This is why I called you, Seiko. I told you that you're causing other people to sin. What do I mean? When you were on that video, those folks knew. Wait, let me finish.
What man attacks a woman?
What?
What man attacks a woman, Corey?
Again, she lied. The same you.
What man attacks a woman, Corey?
He asked the question, where did she lie? She got in the chats when you asked her and asked other people, like Proverbs as well, who said they didn't know about my charge. They hadn't heard about it. But they're literally in the chats commenting about it. That's why I know she lied. And the reason why she lied is because she's listening to you. You say, I'm gaslighting. You are the one who are building a fire. Hold on. That's why I said that. Now, I'm not getting to respond to every single person in chat. I no longer seek to prove anything. I don't want to prove anything.
You knew nothing about the 3 mil. Nobody knew about the 3 mil according to after the fact until we investigated it. You never. Okay. You definitely didn't tell anybody about the $3 million. You never told anybody about the $3 million in your own personal testimony. You never said anything about it.
That's fine. I didn't tell everybody about.
Stop lying. So don't call her a liar when you never said it.
She lied because she said she didn't know what my charge was.
She said she knew nothing about the $3 million, and nobody did, Corey.
That's fine. That's fine. So listen, guys. I wish you well. God bless you, and I hope to see you on the other side. Goodbye.